Greetings. I am Russ Hatfield, and I am here with my twin soul Kara, who is a higher dimensional member of Ashtar Command, stationed on Hades Base on Mars. The channeling session for September is called Crashed Craft and a Temporary Spiritual Rest, recorded in February of 1993 and channeled by Mark Crocker. This session has them all being very open about the craft of the base and other races that have gone down on our planet. A fuller summary can be found at the link to our homepage below. For a full transcript of this latest channeling session, please go to our main homepage at hadesbasenews.com. We invite you to subscribe to be kept informed of future postings on our YouTube channel from the members of Ashtar Command. And now we present our latest entry into the Hades Base archives, Crashed Craft and a Temporary Spiritual Rest.
Yes, I'm alive. Wouldn't have it any other way, would I?
No, wait.
Okay,
Okay.
so, hang on, let's see if I can do this. So, what do you want to know?
Oh, that was fun last night.
Mm-hmm.
I had a most enjoyable time.
Yeah.
How was everything on your end?
Oh, apart from punctuality?
Oh, yeah, well, punctuality, yeah.
Yeah, that does help. You needed your dormancy to create more energy. Hmm?
I wouldn't have actually made it off the Hades base otherwise, I don't think.
I know.
But I hated to keep you waiting. I just hoped somebody was monitoring so you knew what was going on.
Well, I was playing with my entertainments that I have.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
So you weren't bored.
No. Actually, I should have gotten me some work instead of working whilst I was tired this afternoon. Never mind.
Oh, well. So how's everything going to you?
Oh, fine.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
Any pointers for last night?
Yes, just a little. Is to relax more, not to be so tense when you sit down and have tea and scones.
Well, with Kiri glaring at me in these coercive modes that could melt my brain to jello, I don't have much choice.
Well, that goes back to the first point. Punctuality.
That's true.
I wonder what she was dreaming about.
She didn't like being awoken from it, whatever it was.
Hmm. And she's looking good, isn't she?
She is, yes. I like that print dress on her last night.
Yeah. It helps to me to be aware when she's wearing it. You know, she tells me things.
Now that I know, I'll be aware of things more
Mm-hmm.
too. Of course, it wasn't hard to tell last night.
Well,
If looks could kill.
they probably will. In games without frontiers.
Whoa, without tears.
But, okay.
All
So,
right.
questions.
Yes.
Hmm.
We're for some reason, one thing I did kind of blank out a little bit was our arrival into the planet.
Okay.
I don't remember going into a rotational spin and then reversing it.
Mm-hmm.
How did we get into that?
Well, I supplied a little bit of energy. Gave a little bit of a shove, which comes from supplying the energy to the right portion of you, which bent you into the orbit. And then, when it was time to reverse, I kind of, to put it politely, kicked you in the head to kick you back.
Thank you. You get us.
But it's a figure of speech thing, kicking you in the head.
Right.
Hmm?
figure of speech.
Yeah.
Because at that point I found myself in my little biplane going
Spotter, spotter, spotter.
down in flames.
Yes. Something like that.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little worried that you might think I'd gone off on a deep end there.
I wouldn't let you.
Thank you. But
How would I tell Mark what happened?
that's true.
That I was breaking my responsibilities?
That wouldn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
But what did you do while I was talking to the guys? Like you're wandering around, but
Well, I had other matters on my mind.
well, you certainly caused quite a stir among the folks down there. Haven't seen beautiful women in a while or something.
Hadn't seen him so short, I should imagine.
I suppose.
Must have thought that I was a little girl. To be thought of as a little girl again?
Well, that's good. I was worried you might take it offensively.
No. Maybe a few years ago I would have, but now that I realise that small things come in nice packages,
Can't argue with that.
no.
Well, good. So it worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The feline domesticus apparently is quiet.
Yeah, he wasn't a few minutes ago. Tearing the place to pieces. I was almost brought him up, didn't I, as a matter of fact.
Oh, you should have.
He didn't want to stay
Oh.
this time, though. So what's going on?
Well, apart from me going off for entertainment in a little while.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when is our next session?
Same time, same place.
Next Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm running a little late. I don't know why.
Okay.
I'll try to be on time.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll assume we were shooting for 12 last time. We'll shoot for about the same time next time.
Okay. And if not, I shall pound on your shields.
Thank you.
I shall drill a hole through them, and I shall go, "Hey, Buster!"
Oh, that'll wake me up. Oh, what?
Yeah, I'll get Clara to help.
Uh-oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that'll definitely get me on my feet
Yeah.
then.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I look forward to next Tuesday. Same place that we're going to.
Mm-hmm.
I want to find all about Sirius before we're done with this.
Yeah.
Know like the back of my hands.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like a sightseeing tour guide.
Yeah, you'll be able to give other people a tour.
And here on our right, the famous Sirius Penitentiary.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Most advanced in its quadrants.
Oh, that was fun though. I like the
Mhm.
tea and scones. And quite
Yeah.
good tea, actually.
Mm-hmm.
The Irish again?
Of course.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Delicious.
Okay, now I'm going to go off and get some whipped cream.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I won't ask why.
Would I tell you?
No, of course not.
No.
Games people play.
Yes, games, it's fun.
Well, I'll go find one for Cara sometime.
What, whipped cream or games?
Cream and games.
Ooh. Can I join in?
I'm afraid not.
Oh well, never mind. Besides, I get more than my fair share.
I'm sure you do. I don't want any jealous roommates on my hands.
Jealous? Mark? Maybe a little.
Jealous?
But me?
Yeah? Never.
No, I wouldn't get jealous. I've never been jealous of anybody. Why do you laugh?
Oh, Mark and I were going over that this evening with your experience with Bethany.
Oh, yeah. I hadn't
And the time
forgotten.
you weren't jealous.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't jealous of Daphne. I was furious.
That's a big difference.
Mm-hmm. Spending all this time with a strange young lady who I've got to know and like and adore, and Kiri refers to her as the lunch girl.
Lunch girl.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hopefully lunch girl will come back.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Go have fun with your games.
Oh, yeah.
I'll get some more rest period down here.
Oh, oh.
Uh, Farewell to you.
You won't get rid of me, huh?
Never.
Okay.
Here we go. Feline domesticus.
Meow. Oh, hey, pussycat. Where have you been? Pussycat, pussycat, where have you been? Have you been up to London to see the Queen? Pussycat, pussycat, what did you see? Did you see a mouse sitting under the Queen's chair? What have you done to your tail?
He got a caught something before I got him.
Several sort ofs,
Seems like maybe a door got slammed on him.
more than once.
Maybe got caught.
Hmm.
Oh well, he found a good home with me.
Oh, yeah.
Never had to worry about doors since.
Always been very careful of them. Nice pussycat. Nice pussycat. Ooh. You do, don't you? Well,
Farewell to you.
yeah. And Ashtar did a good job. I can move things easier.
Right.
Still a workout for me.
You had more success than you were before.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if I can do that trick again. Okay. Hand-eye coordination. Colors. Getting a little bit and... Ooh, almost.
Close. Very close.
A lot better. Okay. Up, down. Cross it a little bit this way. And missed by a mile. Well, never mind.
Oh well.
I'm going off to have my brain sorted out.
Well, good luck with it. We'll see you again soon.
Okay. See you later, boss.
Bye bye, love.
Let's get stand back up.
Let's get exercise.
Okay, exercise. Stand up.
Right, up we
Okay.
go.
Stick your arms out
Right, arms out.
and twist. Now twist back. And again. And again. Oh, left, right. Okay, sit down. So, what time do you call dropping by?
4 in the morning. Normal average time. When I expect everyone to be up and awake and waiting for me. Clara was.
No, she wasn't.
Well, she was
heard
after
you.
I got there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the place is all dark and gloomy, and except for her, she was all bright and kind of dull, actually.
Yes. Being woken up out of her sleep does tend to wake me up as well. Okay, so do you have any questions for me?
It seems like I'm getting better with my far sight, and as far as coming back, I don't feel as bad as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
Is that because of the practice I'm getting?
Yeah.
In other words, I don't feel like I've been thrust through a food processor and tossed it back out.
Yeah, blended it up and then poured out rather gently.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was a good trip, though.
Mm-hmm.
A good treat.
Yeah. I was told all about it by little sis, even to the fact of waking her up. She needs her beauty sleep, you know.
He doesn't need anything of the sort. She's beautiful as she is.
And I'm not.
Well, yeah, but you get plenty of beauty sleep.
Think so?
Oh, I know so. You're gorgeous.
With a 4.5-month-old little hooligan.
We got plenty of, well, slightly plenty of sleep last night.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I know she was going to wake you up, I would have stayed for a while.
So, when are you going to drop by and see me next?
Well, how about in a little while?
Okay. You got any oil?
No, just hope you do.
Okay, I've got some.
Okay.
And I'll put Clara into the other room.
Okay.
And then keep her nice and dormant.
Alrighty.
And then we can get down to some massaging and see if we can get you go solid.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be looking forward to it on
Okay, but I'll go and put on the coffee.
Alrighty.
And well, see you in a few minutes.
See you in a few minutes, Bert.
And I'll put on those short jeans. Or do you want me to wear something slightly different?
Do you have any kimonos handy?
Any short ones?
That'll do fine.
Very short ones.
Perfect.
In fact, they wear tears, so that will give you a rough idea on how short they are.
Wow, that's short.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll brave it.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
We'll see you in a few minutes. Okay. I love it. Oh, Mark forgot to turn the pause off.
Mm-hmm.
It is now.
Okay.
Which is just good for Tia since she was making comments she didn't want recorded anyway.
If she didn't want them recorded, she wouldn't have said them, would she?
Hard to say.
Like
She might have forgot.
she is back, but we shall continue with our discussion. She is getting back onto her hot seat, as it were. Anyway.
Okay. Where were we? Oh yeah, the projection today.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Okay.
Your mood was reflected by it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The projection when I went farsighting was such that I feel like I reached a new point today than I have in previous sessions. Whereby, for example, where an outside influence, in this case being a telephone rang, it was so far away from my consciousness that it had to actually intrude up.
Yeah.
To where I could actually hear it. And even then it was kind of...
very faint.
Yeah, very faint compared to what was sitting right next to me. It should have been much more...
audible.
Right. The new technique I used, I don't know if I could count for it, but it seemed to be a change.
Everything helps. You are refining your techniques to a much more beneficial mode.
Right. What I learned is never let my head rest on anything.
Mm-hmm.
That just puts me out.
Okay.
That's the other question I've got. Why is it so easy for me to go to sleep? Farsight, and anybody else who farsights I know, I mean, I drop off like a rock in a second without even wanting to.
A rock.
Well, quiet and silent like a rock.
Ah.
It's like sleeping.
Mm-hmm. We would have to analyze more information to come up with the correct answer on that.
Okay, I just want to know if I'm abnormal or something.
We don't know. We will look into the issue.
Okay.
Okay, next question.
All right. The other thing that I used today was I stared into the crystal while doing my count, in breathing count, and it seemed that I could see the trip lined up in the crystal.
Mhm.
It was kind of a Earth to Hades base without the Earth part included. What was happening there?
That was connecting with the program that you have built into the crystal and aligning it up.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not that the crystal becomes Mars. Mars is encased in a crystal.
Correct.
Okay. If you want, we can get into Mark's questions now.
If you wish.
Yeah, I'm kind of out of questions as far as that goes. She answered most of them. Mark's questions start off with the blue guys, pilots. Now the question is, this first one is, have they ever crashed in Arizona?
Not in Arizona. They have crashed in other parts of your planet.
Was there anything taken by our government, say, that would show it was the blue guys?
The last accident that they had was due to, how would you describe it? Using their cells.
Oh.
And that was about 157 of your years ago.
That wouldn't be in Russia, was it?
You're thinking of the meteor strike.
Right.
No.
Oh.
That was not their fault.
What was it they crashed?
The most recent crash was in the deserts of Africa, in East Africa area, Ethiopia, I believe.
Right.
They have crashed in other parts. One occasion, I think, you might have misinterpreted the question, Sammy. Have they ever crashed? They have crashed on your continent a few times. One of their crashes occurred in an area in Southern California.
Southern California.
Mm-hmm.
Near a place called Palos Verdes.
That is one site where they crashed.
And the government found the spaceship, took it to a secret lab on Palos Verdes, and then experimented with flying it around at one point till they brought it back to the government installation there.
That was a old vehicle that had been crashed for some time. And it was unfortunate that it was discovered before rescue procedures could occur.
So normally rescue procedures happen where the crash isn't recovered.
Correct. Normally we recover, or they recover necessary equipment, but sometimes it is in such an awkward place, and because of pilot entertainment, they tend to keep very quiet about it.
Because, yeah, it's funny that the coincidence behind this is that a former teacher of mine, way back when I was way young, happened to see the craft being flown.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I got the information from.
Uh-huh.
And then what was also strange was at the same time I had a girlfriend that I had did a regression on, but she accidentally traveled to this base
Mm-hmm.
and saw them working on this crystal that they were refining. It didn't look like a natural earth crystal.
No,
So it was seemed to be part of the power plant, possibly.
probably,
Okay.
but we cannot disclose that as you're not quite ready for that kind of information.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
But it's just noting how small the world, our worlds, are. Okay. Now then, in ancient times,
Mm-hmm.
the Anasazis, Hopis, and other Indian tribes have pictures of blue people
Mm-hmm.
that they've taught to. Would this be the pilots?
Presumably yes, but you'd have to ask the pilots if they keep their records concerning their trips themselves. We do have access to um, points of interest, but reading through their logs would be rather dull and tedious and very hard to use comprehend. If you wish, we can at a later date, possibly the next session, when it is convenient for you, get one of the senior blue pilots to attend and channel for you.
Okay. Well, they're not too busy.
Mm.
Okay. What? Yeah, the question would be then, I'll tell also as what purpose would they have for discussing this? Would that also be through that channeling session?
Um, I can speculate personally, but speculation is not as good as having the necessary correct data from the um, group concerned.
Okay.
My speculation is that it would be for agricultural purposes, technology, mining, but again, you'd have to ask them. I'm just speculating.
Okay. Hmm. Yeah, then I'm gonna save a couple of these other questions he had so when we can get in that session.
Okay.
Now you discussed the crash that was in Arizona. That wasn't something from Ashtar Command that I said.
Um, they were um, amusing themselves when the accidents occurred. Again, you'd have to ask them, and they are very tight-lipped on their accidents.
And blame
Um, if you can um, somehow figure a way of getting them talkative and happy, I'm sure they would be able to talk your ear off about flying and techniques and accidents and anything else you prepared.
catch
Good.
them at a party.
Maybe flatter them when you get them to channel.
That'd be
Something along the lines of, I hear you are a very fine pilot.
Have any crashes lately?
No, that would be the wrong way.
I go the opposite direction.
Yes.
Okay. Good.
Well, any more questions?
Um. Yeah. One thing I've got is I read once where there was a trade-off
Mm-hmm.
between our government and an alien race
Mm-hmm.
as far as exchanging humans for guests, aliens,
Mm-hmm.
in which the aliens were treated very badly.
Mm-hmm.
Was that happening with you guys at all?
Not for us personally, no.
Oh,
We would be um, wasteful if we did this.
Yeah, I was gonna say this isn't your guys' style.
No.
Um, would that be a negative entity that would have done that possibly?
No, unlikely.
So it was just another race. It was busy.
As been said in the past, there are other um, beings out there that do have an interest in your planet. The majority are peaceful and scientific.
Hmm.
Okay. Next question, please.
Okay. Um. Now then. Are we gonna go to TNI to Sirius B again, or are we gonna be planning other places to
We
go?
will be going to Alpha Centauri next time.
Okay. Good.
I have spoken, as it were. Okay. Tia is plugged back in.
Okay.
I shall hand back to her. She seems just as she was before she left.
Thank you,
Okay.
Opal. Enjoy. We'll talk again soon. Bye, Tia. Alright. So we're off to Alpha Centauri next. Alright, good. So what'd you think of our house guest?
Interesting young lady.
Where is she though?
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully she's gonna have some potential here for our future.
Mm-hmm. But you have to excuse me, I'm still,
Yeah, I know. Okay. Any techniques I could just, give hints to her right away?
well, you have all the techniques in place.
Right. I mean, for farsighting, practice coming here, in other words.
Oh, yeah. But to come here,
Okay, I told her how to get to Hades' place, but like Omal says, she doesn't have a way from third to fifth.
no, she doesn't. So you must just start by coming here first. Hmm.
Now then, when she went farsighting the night, what exactly happened? Did anybody catch that up there?
Unfortunately, I didn't.
Because she ran into a spaceship,
Mm-hmm.
apparently, and was getting some interesting visuals of that.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if maybe you guys were helping out somewhere.
Not me personally. I was getting ready for some fun. No, not that sort of fun, but I'm going to have some. And have some later on.
But, okay. Well, she seems that she got really a lot of natural talent.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously there was a purpose for this whole thing.
Okay.
I don't want to keep you too much longer here.
Yeah, I'm going to go and take a quick shower and then I'm going to call in. Please.
Okay, well, I'm gonna let you get going here then.
Okay, we'll check the table, please.
Good idea.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, thank you, T. I look forward to Tuesday again. Have a lot of laughs.
Mm-hmm.
Farewell.
No.
Yo.
We can speak.
Well, hi, Kara.
Mm-hmm.
How's the arm?
Let's do a little bit better.
Okay. Now then, healing techniques. All right. What I was working on today was going into the old wound, you might say,
Mm-hmm.
and working on like microscopically filling in any cracks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The problem I was having
Mm-hmm.
was once they were filled in, getting them to align to the old bone.
Mm-hmm.
How could that become a little bit better?
By a little tighter focus on that point supplying, instead of just energy, hot energy.
Hot energy.
Mm-hmm. Heating it up. That way it kind of welds itself back together.
Oh, so I fuse the air. It's not
Mhm.
working.
And don't worry about how much heat you put in there. The more the better.
Okay.
Besides, I can control my body um, systems better than some people can.
Okay, now I couldn't figure out a way how to deal with the hurt above the bone in the actual muscle and skin tissue.
Right, you start off by dealing with the damage to the bone, and then you work your way up by using heat, but only warm heat instead of real hot heat. You apply warm heat and gently knead it like massaging, but with warm heat.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that could be a much more easier way of doing it. Okay. I was a little worried about working on our house guests' knee problem
Mm-hmm.
for the same reason. It wasn't the bone that was the problem. It was the muscle or tendons.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had wanted to work on that, I would have projected some warm heat on that end
Mm-hmm.
and massaged it.
Let me hold on a second. I've never done this before. Put your hand above my hand and feel the heat coming out of it.
Mm, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So about that temperature,
Right, a little bit hotter.
a little bit hotter.
Yeah, I don't do it too hot.
All right. Okay. Let's see.
A little bit down.
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
My bad.
It's a little bit of a workout for me. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
But I've hopefully I think we found someone with a lot of potential in here.
Mm-hmm.
She also does massage, so we might have an all-around
Ooh.
opera.
Mm-hmm. That would be good.
Now, I haven't told her about you yet.
Because when you have problems, should actually.
Right, so that'll be a little tough approach on that subject.
Well, I shall keep a low profile when channeling my behaviors of investment plan instead of a little bit more.
Okay.
But talking of which, test tubes.
This time.
Yeah. And then throw them the other way.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to deny almost content between them.
Good. I want to do this myself.
Mm-hmm.
Just put it my test tube, I suppose.
Something a bit like you, aren't I?
You know, it's a little bit up to you.
Well, that much energy is kind of got everybody a little bit.
I suppose it does bleed through a bit.
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit amusing, especially for Kiri.
How is little sis doing?
And she's fine. She's looking forward to channeling.
Oh, good. What are you talking about? Now, in the projection I did today, where I was coming up there, a little bit more solid, a little bit different from normal,
Yeah.
to where I had actually, what I feel was more there than here.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
So-
totally.
this is kind of a breakthrough, sort of.
Mm-hmm. Need to come a little bit more energy from this what she was said.
Okay, well, we did 2 implosions.
Mm-hmm.
That seemed to help.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about doing a mega big implosion in the second one with me?
Okay.
Just let it go, give it full breath, and I'll be there ready to catch anything, and I'll have Tia on standby. Outside the room, of course.
Okay.
Guess who I've got sitting in my lap?
All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
She says hi.
Hi.
Actually, she says, "Oh, good Bedford,"
Why said hi to her today?
which means just a little bit more than hi.
Oh. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
On the implosion today,
Mm-hmm.
I did a loop. I think it was 10 loops before implosion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How many would be a better one for like a mega implosion? So get
Something more energy would be better. Maybe one twice as powerful, twice as many.
okay, so a 20, so that built up even twice as much.
Yeah. And do a real big one. I'm always here, sitting helping me with these figures. That's not my department.
Okay. Because yeah, the thing I want to do now is definitely work on solidity here.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, what do you think of our camera?
it's very nice.
Mm-hmm. Is it short effects of it, please?
A little bit shorter than I expected, actually.
Mm-hmm. It's going to give me another one.
Right.
The one that she uses, or used to use, for sleeping in. It's a little bit more silky. It's a little shorter.
I'm gonna put some lotion on my hands in before I come over.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll just get some lotion on when I get up there.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Nothing that I can say on tape.
Oh god. Well, I'm gonna try to get up there again tonight. Spend some time.
Okay.
So I guess anything I have left to say, I'll just say in person.
I'll say what I've got in my mind in comparison.
Okay. Maybe we'll reach somewhere in the middle here.
Okay, I'm going to go with Little Sis.
Alright.
And Little Sis is, she's more like she used to be.
Oh, good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'll see you in a little while.
Okay.
Love you lots.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
Little mama?
Little Mama's.
Right. Carter's right. You are sounding a lot like your old self. Good. I think you're getting close to the time it'd be a little bit harder on you.
Well, I managed to pump up a lot of energy.
Good. Oh, Tia mentioned the party today
Mm-hmm.
when I was up there for after birth.
Mm-hmm.
But Mark's afraid you're not going to have enough energy to be able to attend.
I'll attend. I'm able to sit there and be a silly, boring old part. But,
That'll be a change.
yeah, see how I feel at the time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Any new conversations from the little one there?
Constantly.
Constant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what does it have to say at this young age?
What is?
What is?
What is this? What is that?
Already?
Mm-hmm. Very inquisitive.
You have to explain each time.
Mm-hmm.
How do you coach your answers into baby talk?
I'm going to uh, have a chat with my mom, and then I'm going down to help power the car. And then hopefully by the time I get out, I'll be able to join in the fun, if they let me.
Delicious. Well, I'll probably see you up in a little while.
I'll be over Paris for a while, and when you arrive, I should go and talk with Nancy. What else?
Wait up for me. We're not probably you'll get too much going anyway.
I'll go and talk to my nephew.
Okay.
We're getting helping with his research, and I've also now got my last genetic experiment now, which should be coming to an end in about 2 or 3 days anyway.
Wow. What experiments are they?
It's to do with plant life with acceleration cloning. Accelerating cloning process.
Oh, so this is something that could be applied in other areas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so that's important.
Oh, yeah.
Well, how tough is it working with plant genes compared to, say, animal genes?
It's a lot easier, actually.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
With more simplified DNA and such.
Much simpler. The next one, next explainer that I've got planned will be working with little furry creatures about 1.5 to 2 inches long that squeak a lot. I don't know what you'd call them.
Nice.
Well, as I said, I don't know what you'd call them.
Are they white? They have 4 legs and a tail?
Yeah, 4 legs, a long, thin tail, little claw feet and big ears.
Oh,
Not long.
Could be rats.
No. Well, I don't know what rats are or mice are anymore.
Oh, you just described a mouse perfectly.
No, it's probably what it is then.
Well, we do a lot of experiments on them down here.
Mhm.
I mean, that's our main experimental animal.
Mm-hmm.
White mice and such, for finding genetic patterns. You look at a white mouse and a black mouse, and you study the genetic traits the offspring among so many generations to find your dominant and recessive genes. I should study genetics sometime.
Oh, it's
Sounds like a fascinating field to get into.
You could get cornets in. Mm-hmm. Right, do you have any serious questions for us?
Serious questions? Not really. Just talking shop, basically.
Okay.
Because everything I'm doing now is concerning farsighted.
Yeah, working on that. So you're not asking about the royalty.
Not really. Our newest person that's kind of been wandering around here is a coercer.
Mm-hmm.
Or the girl who was here for a little temporary roommate, you might say.
Mm-hmm. And talking of temporary and permanent roommates, how is your
Our resident shield tester.
yeah.
Yeah, what's funny is the Susan, who is the name of the girl who was here, says her coercion always has been in the way of men.
Yeah.
Apparently, she's picked up a technique you developed. Absolutely seductive coercion. She says she has no problem with it whatsoever.
Yeah, perhaps we ought to sit down and have a chat sometime.
I think so too.
Talk over techniques.
But now, where does she go from seductive coercion next?
Oh, it's up to her.
Okay, but I mean, what would be the next logical step? Just normal coercion?
Yeah.
Okay. So it'd be positive.
Mm-hmm.
Or aggressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whichever she chooses.
Okay, because I haven't discussed it really in detail with her. I'm waiting until she gets her far side when shielding down first. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Good. That's all I got, love.
Oh.
No.
Well, okay. Let me see. I don't know how I'm going to win this. Tina's bonded with Mark, and I'd like to bond with him, but I'm not quite sure how to go about it because I don't want to upset Tina, and I don't want to upset Mark, but I'd like to become bonded as well.
Well, I think Mark would love it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's more concerned with your feelings and how you would like to stay maybe a free agent at points, what his thinking is.
Mm-hmm. But I'd like to stay free, but yet I'd like to be part of the group.
Right, so this is something you'd have to sit both of them down with.
Mm-hmm. How would I work that?
Well, you'd say, I've got
An interesting proposition.
Something like that, but you discuss your needs.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, you need to be a part of a family unit sort
Yeah.
of thing.
Because it's concerning young adults. It's why I've been thinking about it. Yeah.
Good point. Good point. In that case, that's how you'd approach it.
Mm-hmm.
How you'd like to make this a bit more of a official
Yeah.
type of unit.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, the arrangements are made.
Mm-hmm.
And we could possibly do that at the same party we do it for the little one there.
Okay.
So that might be a good plan.
Mm-hmm. There is a secretary here that's new to the job. She'd like to say hi.
What's her name?
It's hard to translate her name means. Flower of the river, child of the moon. That's the direct translation, but
Well, we call her Flower Child.
it sounds a little bit old hat.
It does, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
How
How about Luna?
Luna works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She's not from some of this country, she's just sitting here taking notes.
Well, wish her hi from all of us down here on Earth.
Okay, I'll do so.
Great. Well, might meet her sometime.
Mm-hmm.
When I go up there.
Yes, she is, how would I be best to describe her? She's about a little bit shorter than Ma. She has long red hair, long legs. She's a bit looking on game, actually. If it wasn't my current condition, she would be my favorite.
We'll invite her to the party.
She smiles.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, invite her to the party. We'll meet her there.
She is. Hold on a second. She is 29 of her years, which I don't know is what is
Breaks
your
down to about 21, I think, here.
Well, she's not 20 years from planet, and she's not from Sirius. She's from another planet that's closer to our mole's importance home planet in a different dimension.
Well, we'll take it at 29 then. Okay. It's a reasonable age.
Yes. Hold on a second. She has tanned skin. She's very friendly. I'll discuss it with her later. Knows you're not to be.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, Kiri, have fun, enjoy. We'll be talking to you, hopefully when I come up here in a little while, at least say hi.
Okay. I'll hang around.
Okay.
So I will see you later. And as always,
Okay.
look forward to seeing you.
Good. I'm 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty.
And I'm out of here.
Take care, love.
Good evening, Russ.
Now,
Now, why did you turn on just before we came in?
watch you come in.
You're getting clever.
A little bit fragmented on that one. Kind of come in pieces, you might say, and kind of take over parts at a time, you might say.
Well, we prefer to do things carefully, make sure the channel is functioning within the correct operational parameters.
Any is, I take it?
Within certain parameters. Normal parameters for the channeler.
Is he off with Kiri and Tia, I hope?
No, I'm afraid not.
He's off court.
Yes.
Oh well. I know the girls are missing him.
Well, presumably. we all are kept pretty busy up here at the moment, on our toes, as it were. You never know who's going to drop by.
I know.
Yes, you experienced it.
Oh, fun little visitation.
Mm-hmm.
For all practical purposes, it worked out.
Yes. Did you enjoy your theological discussion with,
The theologian himself.
yes, the master?
I assume he doesn't mind maintaining his aspect as Corton for a while there.
I think it should have been pretty obvious from the start. Who else would address you as Mr. Hatfield?
Right, but I have a feeling that, and Mark agrees, that there was a little bit of coercion involved, because he knows I won't talk to him on a one-to-one basis like I would Corton,
Mm-hmm.
only because he scares the dickens out of me.
True.
And I wouldn't be getting into theological discussions with Ashtar if I knew it was Ashtar.
Yes,
I
that is
know I'd
wise.
lose.
Which you did.
Which I did, but I came up with the idea later on afterwards
Mm-hmm.
that I should have presented to him the fact that while soldiers can teach teachers how to fight,
Mm-hmm.
teachers can teach soldiers how to not fight.
True.
I think that would have stumped him.
I don't know. He
For
would
a
have
second or
probably
two.
come up with an answer that would have stumped you big time.
I know. But had me wondering.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it was quite enjoyable.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yes, I did. Alright, what's on the list for tonight? I believe it's free time.
It still is free time, yes. Negative feedbacks, I presume.
Negative feedbacks, coercion, and a little bit of farsighting.
Okay, let's start off with this negative feedback loop.
Alrighty.
You are concerned about the lack of pain.
Correct. I don't want pain, really, but I'm expecting pain and can't get it. I think that might be my problem.
That is possibly your problem, that you're anticipating pain. It is like when you stick a needle in yourself, you're expecting it to hurt, and sometimes it doesn't, because the expectation is there, but yet you bleed all the same.
Still hurts. Oh, I know what you mean, though.
Yeah, it is the expectation. It didn't hurt as much. You're expecting it to hurt, and yet you stick it in, and it doesn't hurt as much.
Right. I assume the reason why it should hurt is because it's going through various neural pathways and opening up by force. Now, my lack of pain, would that mean that I'm failing in this and my neural pathways aren't being opened, or they're being open, I'm just not feeling the pain?
It is probably a little bit of both, that they are being enlarged, but they're only being enlarged at a small rate.
Were you, there's a monitor on me today during the one I was doing this morning?
Unfortunately, we were aware a little bit too late to follow the process from beginning to end.
Okay, because I had some major feedback looping going this morning.
How tight was it? Was it overflowing, or was it a nice tight beam?
Well, I started off slow, and I've started going a little bit different from normal. Where before I was using the idea that chakras in front of the body, but now I'm going with the fact that chakras are along the spine. So I'm working up, sending the energy through the chakras along my spine now, which seems to be better. And as it started picking up speed, it picked up solidity. And the faster it went, the solider it get, until it was a vibrating band almost of solid energy that I could feel and Mark could feel, and he wasn't even near me. And it was, I thought this was going to be it. This was going to be the biggie. It was really there. Sent it in, nothing.
And it wasn't, was it a tight beam, or was it a wide, fat beam?
It was a fat beam.
It's got to be a tight beam.
Well, it gathering so much energy, it couldn't get any tighter. It was just this.
You'd be surprised how tight you can get it.
So in other words, tighten the beam up more.
Yes, I think we went over this a little while back, that
Yeah.
it had to be a nice tight beam. Tight and tidy. If it's a wide fat beam, it tends to bleed a little bit.
I'd say it was the width of my fist.
It needs to be tighter.
The width of a pencil, say?
Yes.
So that same amount of energy in the width of a pencil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let me get this clear straight. Just before I send it in, it loops up, and then instead of looping back down to go back through my chakras, it crosses back in and goes straight into my left eye.
Yes. Okay, where did you go wrong?
No, that's what I did, but tighter.
Yeah, it needs to be tighter. As tight as possible. The tighter the better. About third of an inch in diameter should suffice.
That's right.
That is about the width of the pencil.
Okay. Now I was thinking, with acupuncture, we're talking about needles.
Yes.
They don't hurt,
and
yet they do their work the way they're supposed to. Now I'm using this almost the same principle, but it's supposed to hurt.
Yes. Acupuncture is it is much a smaller object. B, it is going to the body. It is not penetrating the brain. If you were to use acupuncture to penetrate the heart, you would feel it, or the brain. You would feel that. Whereas it's going through tissue and muscle and so on. It is not as harmful. But yet, if you penetrate an organ of some kind, then you feel it. Maybe not immediately, but you feel it later on.
Okay. Now, I've got some curious side effects from the negative feedback loop I'd like to talk about.
Okay.
Alright. Number one, I didn't get to bed last night about 4:30 or 5. Okay. So today I should have been just dragging my butt everywhere.
Yes.
And at first I was. Then I did the negative feedback loop, and I was a little bit wonky, as Mark would say, afterwards. And then as soon as I got the wonkiness feeling gone, my energy level was so up.
Sorry.
I was just going to say, I've been smiling, laughing, having a great time. I've had tons of energy all day long. I'm still just amped up. And I should be dead on my feet, ready to drop.
That is because the energy that you pick up is being activated. It activates more energy. See, which gives you extra energy to make you, how did you put it, bouncy and cheerful?
Right. Amped up.
Amped up. That's the one.
You're going to learn all kinds of English from us.
This is amusing.
Anyway, right. So that's actually a good exercise in the morning when I'm feeling kind of tired.
Yes, but you can't do it on a regular basis because after a while you run out of energy. And then you just, to use an expression that Mark uses occasionally, you just fall over.
Okay.
Which actually I presume means that you run out of energy and you just, dragging your butt, no energy, shields are low in power, capabilities almost zero, and so on.
Right. Okay. So not all the time, but when Well, for now, I'll keep practicing it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Need to practice.
Yes, but it would be more effective after a good night's sleep. You would be, what's the term that you use for when you have lots of energy? Amped up. Hyper.
Hyper. Yeah.
Yes, hyper beyond belief.
Okay.
A bit like the Chandler gets sometimes.
It sure does.
You can tell when he's been doing negative feedback loops.
Okay, so this is all going to be coming really handy for this next part of this learning
Yes.
sessions then. Farsighting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Brings me to my next point.
Okay.
Farsighting crystal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In my hand I have a crystal sphere.
Mm-hmm.
Something very strange happened to this crystal sphere.
Okay.
When I bought it, on the surface of it, or just below the surface, there was like two little eye holes almost, where somebody had dropped it and caused a little refraction type of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Very small, but very clear, like somebody shot a BB in it almost.
BB?
A little high-powered steel pellet fired from an air gun.
Ah.
In other words, the middle part of the circle was clear. The outer rings of it were kind of like a crater on the moon, kind of
Yes.
splattered out. And there was two of them next to each other, looked like eyes.
Yes.
They're not there anymore.
And you want me to explain why they're not there anymore?
Well, Mark's gets clear, but it's been a long time. This was like a week after I bought it, and they're gone.
What sort of energy do you use on it?
Not much really. I used it for farsighting a couple times and
Mm-hmm.
keep it in my pocket all the time.
Maybe it is a self-healing crystal.
Oh,
There are crystals that do self-heal,
sure. I've got a few of them around.
depending on their circumstances and who uses them, how much energy, the attention, and so on.
Okay. So the crystal itself doesn't lend its energy, though, to farsight.
No.
It's merely an aid to keep your awareness focused
Yes.
in case you start to drift.
Yes. You get a much tighter form of travel to start off with, which aids you in your farsighting until you get the pattern down, and then you don't need it.
How to travel? How do you mean?
Where you don't get so sloppy around the edges.
Oh, you mean instead of drifting?
Correct.
Nice.
It's a much tighter beam. It also means you can travel a lot faster because you're not wasting as much energy.
Well, good. That brings me up to my farsighting.
Okay.
I did yesterday, day before yesterday.
Yes, Wednesday.
Cracked my day off.
Mm-hmm. It was not your day off from your other job.
Right, theater. But yeah, I had some morning time free. Went ahead and traveled on up to Hayden Space.
Mm-hmm.
Got to Kara's room. And we went to the ski slopes.
Mm-hmm.
But I was feeling this pull from back here.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I was feeling really solid at the time, the pull was getting stronger and stronger. I kept having to fight it with more and more energy to stay where I was, until
Mhm.
finally I had to just give it up and head back from the slopes back down here.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very uncomfortable. It was like 1,000 needles were pushing into my body, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Mark says he ignored it one time, fought it even longer than I did, and suffered some severe consequences from it.
Mm-hmm. You want to know what it is?
You betcha.
It is your body calling to be whole. Once you manage to condition your body to accept the fact that it is temporarily apart, then you can start to do some serious farsighting. But in the meantime, your body has to get conditioned to the fact that you are not only in a different place, but in a different dimension. It is the dimension that you break through that causes it, but your body is aware that you have broken through to somewhere different, and it wants it to return, and it pulls, and it pulls, and it pulls.
So in other words, if I was to say stay on third dimension here and travel around the neighborhood or something, I wouldn't feel that pull.
No. But it is breaking through that dimension, and it will become less and less until your body is conditioned. This is also a stretching type experience.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. It felt like my body was like elongated 1,000 miles or something.
And then some.
And then some. But yeah, I don't plan on sticking around the neighborhood here.
It is best to start off slowly and gently.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I know.
You don't want to overload yourself and then burn out and lose your capability,
Right.
which can happen.
But I do want to go to Heidi's base.
Of
That's
course.
the only place I want to farsight to.
Don't you want to relieve the channel of some of his workload, as you were saying?
Well, yeah, but that's not for till after I get Hades base down. Wired.
Of course, we are teasing you.
Oh. I can never tell sometimes. A little chiding there on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's nothing serious.
Yes, it is serious.
It is serious.
Yes. Because if you ignore it, as was mentioned about the Chandler, you can have some very serious side effects. You can actually overload yourself and then everything goes down.
Mm.
You crash the computer, as you might say.
Right. Precautions then.
When it gets strong enough to become an interference, return. Practice is a precaution because your body gets used to it, and after a while it accepts it.
Because it didn't feel like that really the time I went to visit your room, and there was never any kind of hole.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it felt comfortable where I was in Hades base. Yeah. In your room. Was that maybe your energy or some other energy I was borrowing?
We'll let that work. We'll let you work it out for yourself, because it is part of the learning experience.
Okay. So practice and don't ignore it.
Correct.
Okay. Is there a way I can lessen it, maybe? I mean, besides the practice. I mean,
practice is about the only way.
That is. Seeing some kind of meditation.
No, because you have to make that jump to do it, to get up your stamina, as it were.
Mm. Okay. Fair enough. Alright, I'll try that. And so I might not stay as long as I'd like to. I'll at least be able to get up there more often.
Yes, it is, again, a matter of building up stamina each time that you come up. Stay a little bit longer. Or at least try. Okay, next question, please.
Coercion.
Okay. You know, this is not my field as much as Corton, but Corton is indisposed, unfortunately.
Oh, this is an easy one.
Okay.
Coercion with adults has been pretty easy lately.
Mm-hmm.
But tonight I tried to work with coercion on children.
Mm-hmm.
No luck.
Okay.
In other words, I could get eye contact. Mark says, if you can get down to their level, it works better.
Mm-hmm.
But
of course, in your work environment, when you're working behind that area, you cannot get down to their level.
Right. I was wondering if there's something about children that keeps them from being coerced.
They have not yet got the mental barriers in place that adults have, the mental taboos. So their minds are open, but yet they have natural shielding to protect them.
Oh, they do.
But as they get older, it dissipates.
Mm.
And sometimes it dissipates more rapidly as the child gets older and older.
Let's see. So now, if a child
Hmm.
first born in the world has got memories, say, of past lives and things like shields, is that something he puts into his life at that point
Yes.
to work with?
Yes, and then as the child gets older, by surrounding factors, it dissipates. That is why it's been stated in the past that the ideal learning age is of a child that is freshly born. That way you can work with them and get them to use their shields, and then slowly their shields become stronger and stronger.
Mm. I see. Okay. Mark was wondering about the his being able to work with the child up there that's about to be born, or to be his, Kiri and his child. About
Their child.
Their child, right? Any kind of influence that he might have that might be more controlled over what he might be able to suggest.
You mean to say that we would interfere and guide the growth of the child?
Something like that. Like he'd like to give it more of a military training like he got.
This will be taken care of at a more appropriate time.
Okay. I only bring it up because we mentioned it the other day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Right. Now then, go back to coercion if we could, please.
Okay.
Okay.
You've been very formal this evening.
Or I don't want to get into too many. Don't want to get into too many taboo subjects.
We will tell you when it is taboo.
Oh, okay. I don't feel like getting reprimanded at all.
After the incident the other night, you're a little bit nervous, huh?
A little bit nervous. Still gun shy.
That is understandable.
It's like being caught with your pants down, you might say.
For as you know, I could be Ashtar masquerading as Amal.
No, not this time.
No, true. Too humorous.
Too humorous, you're staying too long.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Back to coercion.
Okay.
Alright. What I'm trying to do now is work on a muscle reflex coercion.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, where if I want to flex my fingers, it's a mental command I have no control over, and it's so fast that it does it without not even knowing practically.
Mm-hmm.
Can coercion be controlled like that after repeated use?
Yes, it can, but it takes practice, and you have to be careful that it does not work when you don't want it to. That is why it's always advisable to use it when you wish to use it.
Well, see, my problem is it's usually too slow.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I want to use it, I've lost eye contact.
Yes. Then it is practice and holding the eye contact whilst you build up the time and the practice.
Okay. Now, would people who have more of a history of association with me from past lives be more susceptible, say, to coercion than others who've never really met me?
Possibly less, because they know your mental pattern. And they would be aware, if they had been aware in the past, that you were coercing them, or of your capability.
Okay. Because, yeah, I've noticed that with a lot of people that I know. I don't have as much luck coercing friends
Mm-hmm.
who I feel like I've had more lives with than I do complete strangers who I've never had any association with.
It is, again, as we said, because they're used to your mental pattern.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I am noticing, though, what you mentioned one time before, that in using coercion, you do get a feel for the person far deeper than just the,
Just the surface.
right. You can delve into what's going on just below the surface, you might say.
Yes, you can almost establish a rapport and communicate with their deeper conscious.
Right. Kind of scary sometimes, just what people are thinking and going through under the surface.
You would be surprised what people think.
I'm getting surprised, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of coercion, is that still an ongoing experiment or project for me?
Yes, because you have to carry on building up your stamina and capabilities, such as your shields. You should still be working on and refining.
Right, I was working on the day for a bit,
Mm-hmm.
but I remember Ashtar told me to be careful,
Yes.
so I'm being sort of selective in my coercive
Yes.
usage.
That is wise, as Ashtar is always wise on these matters. Now it's my turn to sound formal.
That's alright. Okay. I noticed Ashtar was very concerned with our feelings towards the inhabitants of the Bat People.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering, is that because you, on Fifth Dimension, have so much more idea of life after life type thing that the multiple deaths of people is no longer a factor that's really important?
Yes, to a certain extent. Ashtar is interested in it in to further his understanding of your species. B, to gauge you personally and the channeler. And C, and this one's a little bit more complicated, is to see what effect it will have when there is a mass dying on you and how you perceive it and feel it.
Mm. So he kind of got the impression from talking to me that Mark and I have completely different views on this.
Yes, it was stated that your perception is different from Mark's perception.
Right. But that's because I do regressions.
Mm-hmm.
I see people die, numerous times in a single night sometimes.
Yes.
It's not that major of a thing. But where Mark has seen physical death, it's much more dramatic.
Mm-hmm. A physical death is not as pleasant as a spiritual death, as it were,
Right.
or a temporary spiritual rest.
Yeah, there's no real difference though, is there? Spiritual death and physical death? There's no difference.
I'm not a theologian, so I would not get into that kind of subject.
Yeah, something to dwell on though.
Mm-hmm.
Hours of dwelling maybe.
Yes.
Okay. What's up that you'd like to talk to me about?
What do you want to know about?
Or manifestation, actually.
The penny, huh?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, the penny part. just say it's a part of manifestation.
Yes, how to create it.
I've got the how to create it part.
Mm-hmm.
What I felt today doing the negative feedback loop is that I was gathering the same kind of energy I would use to create the penny or other such objects that I might wish to manifest. It was solid enough to where I felt I could have reached out and touched it.
Yeah.
Now, is that something close to what we're working on?
Yes. We will cover manifestation in great detail at a later date, the same as we have covered coercion and shielding.
That is still a project that should be worked on,
Yes.
as with the others.
Yes. But again, we don't want you to indulge in too much as you'll burn yourself out.
Right, that's why I'm trying to gauge what's important, what's not important this time.
We will get to manifestation in due course. No need to get hasty and rush onto something before you have finished your current studies.
Okay. Yeah, currently it's coercion, farsighting. It's a good
Shielding.
right there, shielding.
Yeah.
Yeah.